Hi, I'm Dr. Carlos Valdez, founder and director of MercadotecniVentas.com, an educational portal where 90% of our content is free. Our mission is to educate and inspire students, academics, and professionals in marketing and sales through innovative, practical content that develop skills which create value. This is a special video audio blog dedicated to marketing and sales students in their final year who are currently looking for job opportunities. I want to start with a very clear reality. When you enter today's job marketing in marketing and sales, companies primarily evaluate three things. First, your soft skills, how you communicate, how you think, and how you solve problems. Number two, your technical skills as a marketer and sales professional. And third, and this is what will make the difference in the coming years, your knowledge of artificial intelligence beyond just using ChatGPT. And here I want to be very honest with you. Knowing how to use ChatGPT, create images, create videos, generate presentations, or write text with artificial intelligence is not longer a competitive advantage. Today, that's like knowing how to use Office, send emails, or browse the internet. You take it for granted. I'm not a programming expert. I'm a professor of marketing and sales at University of Central Florida, UCF, got nice, charge on. And I recently conducted a research on the use of artificial intelligence in our university program. And I have talked with students, professors, graduates, and employers, and all they agree that using artificial intelligence is very important. But what will truly set professionals apart in the coming years is knowing how to use it strategically. And that's the next level. It's no longer just about writing better prompts or prompt engineering. We are now talking about creating artificial intelligence agents. And that's why I created this mini course. I'm going to share with you how to take your first real step to create an AI agent applied to marketing and sales. Not to turn you in a programmer, but you want to need to do a little bit of programming, but to help you to develop a new skill in your AI training. One that will give you a competitive advantage toward 2026. Now, this is not magic. It's not immediate. It requires patience, a lot of patience, precision, and iteration, multiple iterations with the system. But it's a real first step. Before we continue, I want you to be very clear on something. I have already walked this learning path. I made mistakes, a lot of mistakes. I got stuck multiple times and gradually understood how artificial intelligence really works beyond using ChatGPT as a simple user. But in my experience as a learner and also on your experience in this course, you won't walk alone. The teacher that will be with you throughout this process, the one that is going to help you think, test, correct, and improve, is the best AI teacher that we have today, and that teacher is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was my teacher to create the first agent. I developed this course to share it with you, but I strongly recommend throughout the entire process of creating the agent, ChatGPT needs to be with you. Here, again, we are not going to use ChatGPT just to generate text. We're going to use it as your learning copilot, as the tool that will help you create, adjust, and understand your first AI agent. In the next session, I will show you how you are going to work with ChatGPT, what you need to get started, and how to use it strategically throughout this process. And these are the sections of the course. Number one, how are you going to work with ChatGPT? Number two, the environment that we're going to use. Number three, thinking like an AI agent creator. Number 4, how your first AI agent is built. Number 5, testing, adjusting, and controlling costs. And number 6, publishing your agent and taking the next step. So let's begin. Section number 1. How are you going to work with ChatGPT and what you need to start for this journey? Before we talk about code, agents, or technical tools, there's something fundamental. I need to make it clear from the start. To follow this course, you do need a paid ChatGPT account. I repeat, you need to have a paid ChatGPT account, the one that costs $20 per month. Not because it's a luxury, but because we are going to work continuously with AI, using it as a real support throughout the entire process. In my case, I work on Mac, but the operating system is not what matters. What matters is understanding that ChatGPT will be your tutor, your co-pilot, and your support while you learn to create AI agents. And here, I want you to do something very strategic. Don't use ChatGPT as a generic chat. Create a specific ChatGPT dedicated solely or only as an AI agent creator. That chat will be your workspace. That's where I explain to ChatGPT what I want to do, what I was learning, and what kind of agent I want to build. And the same process is the one that you will also follow. This is where I tell ChatGPT what role it will take and how it will help me throughout the process. From that conversation, ChatGPT pointed me to the first real step to build an agent. And the first step is create an OpenAI key, also known as an API key. And here's where the important part about the cost comes in. An OpenAI key is simple, a secure way to tell the system, this application is me and I'm responsible for its usage. Every time your agent uses artificial intelligence, OpenAI charges for that use according to the amount of information going in and out, which is known as tokens. In my case, I loaded $5. That was more than enough to learn, test, and build my first agent. The idea is not to spend a lot of money, but to learn to control AI usage from the start. Understanding this now at the beginning is essential. Creating AI agents is not magic. It's using real artificial intelligence, and that's why it has a cost. But that's also why when you know how to do it well, it becomes a highly valuable skill. And that way employers are going to look forward to hiring you. Section number 2, the environment that we're going to use. Before moving forward, I want to share how my process actually went, because there's an important learning here. I started working directly from the terminal on Mac. First, I didn't know what is a terminal. Terminal is a software that you can use for coding. So I asked ChatGPT, what is my first step? In your Mac, open terminal. Okay, so I open terminal. That's where I built much of the initial project. The terminal works, but over time, I realized something. When you are learning to create AI agents, clarity matters more than complexity. In that moment, I switched per recommendation of ChatGPT to Visual Studio Code. And then the process became clearer and faster. That's why in this course, we're going to work with Visual Studio Code. Not because it's more advanced, but because it helps you think better. Visual Studio Code is the space where you're going to organize your project. You can clearly see what you are building in terms of coding, and you connect all the pieces of the agent. Now, let's talk about the language. We use Python because it reads almost like text. And I want to clarify, Even I didn't know what Python was. I knew that it was a language for coding, but I never had a clue or an idea. ChatGPT taught me or teach me how to use it. That make it ideal for creating AI agents. So Python is ideal for AI agents. Even if this is your first project, you don't need to be a master of Python, but you need to understand that Python is the language that ties everything together. And finally, we use Streamlit. Streamlit is what turns all the work into a real application. It's where the agent receives information, processes it, and responds. It's the moment when the idea becomes tangible. The idea of this section is simple. It's not about mastering tools. It's about understanding how they relate. So, the terminal or Visual Studio Code is where you're going to put the code that ChatGPT will give you. Remember your tutor, your ChatGPT tutor. Python is the language, and Streamlit is where the agent comes to life. In the next section, we're going to get into the most exciting part of the course, how to think like an AI agent creator before writing any code. So let's move on to section number 3, thinking like an AI agent creator. To create my first artificial intelligence agent, I decided to start with something very concrete and very real. And I choose the concept that we constantly teach in marketing and sales: TAM, SAM, and SOM. Briefly, TAM means total addressable market. Is the total addressable market for a company or for a product. SAM, service available market, is the market that you can actually serve, and SOM is the service obtainable market. It's going to be the share of market that you can realistically capture. These concepts are fundamentals in marketing and sales, but they are also challenging for both students and professionals. So that's why I thought creating an AI agent that helps calculate TAM, SAM, and SOM really adds value, because it's something that we use all the time in marketing and sales. And this is where the way of thinking starts to change. It's not about making agents because they sound advanced, but about creating agents that truly help you in your profession. From there, I start a very clear dialogue with ChatGPT about what I want to do and above all, what I did not want to do. I made an important decision from the beginning. This agent will use the information the user enters and the information already contained in the AI. We will not perform internet searches. We will not use external sources. The reason? Very simple. Connecting your agent to the internet requires additional services, third-party interfaces, and that increases cost. I want a relatively inexpensive agent with an educational purpose, useful for students, and that will serve as a real example of how to create agents from scratch. Here, another key decision was made. The user of the agent had to enter some data, like for example, the industry, the company, the product, the price, and the geographic market. And we left an additional option to add more context if it's necessary. With that information, the model generates an estimate of TAM, SAM, and SOM. The agent was built in a simple, clear way focused on logic, not technical complexity. We also made it bilingual in Spanish and English, because from the start I was thinking of students and professionals in different contexts. This is a very important point. This agent does not aim to provide exact figures. It aims to help you think, structure, and understand the market. And that's exactly what good AI agents do. They support decision-making. They don't replace human judgment. I will repeat loud and clear. That is exactly what good agents do. They support your decision-making, but they are not going to replace your judgment. This is where everything we have seen so far connects. Thinking like an agent creator means choosing the right problem, defining clear boundaries, controlling costs, and designing something that's truly useful. In the next section, we'll see how this agent is built, now connecting this logic to a real application. So let's move on to section number 4, how your first AI agent is built. In this section, I want you to understand something very important. Build an AI agent is not about writing a lot of code. It's about connecting the right pieces well. Once you are clear on the problem, in this case, estimating TAM, SAM, and SOM, the agent is built from 4 very simple elements. This is very important from the course. Remember this section. Number 1, the prompt. Number 2, the inputs. Number 3, the model. And number 4, the output. This is everything behind an AI agent. First, let's talk about the prompt. The prompt is the agent's brain. There, you define what role it has, what it must do, what limits it has, and how it should respond. In my case, the prompt tells the model to act as a marketing analyst and generate estimates of TAM, SAM, and so on. Now, something very important. The agent uses the general knowledge the model already has, its understanding of markets, business, and concepts, but it does not look for external information or new data. All of the agent's reasoning is based on the information it already has and what the user enters. That I repeat, the user needs to put industry, product, price, geographic market, and any additional context. That is, the model does not generate 100% real figures. Rather, it uses its knowledge to reason, structure, and provide very good approximate or estimates based on that data. This is a design decision, because this way the agent is more controllable, more economical, and more useful as an educational tool. In summary, the prompt defines the agent's behavior. Very important. Number 2, inputs. The inputs are the data the user enters into the agent. In the example of my agent of TAM, SAM, and SOM, I repeat, is industry, company, product, price, geographic market, and additional context. The agent works with the information it has and what the user provides. Number 3, the open AI model. Here, you don't need to understand how artificial intelligence works internally. You only need to know that the model processes the information, applies reasoning, and generates a structured response. And every time it does this, it consumes tokens. In other words, it has a cost. That is why designs matter. And finally, the output. The result is not just a number. It's an explanation that helps you understand the market and make better decisions. That's the goal of the agent, to support analysis, not to replace human judgment. When you connect these 4 pieces, a very good prompt, clear inputs, an appropriate model, and a useful output, you already have a functional AI agent. In the next section, we are going to look at something key: how to test, adjust, and control the agent's usage and cost so it's sustainable. So let's move on to section number 5. Testing, adjusting, and controlling cost. Once your agent works, an equally important stage begins: testing it and adjusting it. This is where many people make mistakes. They think that because the agent already responds, the work is finished. In reality, that's where the real learning starts. The first result is almost never the final one. When I started testing this agent, I focused on 3 very specific things. First, whether the response made sense from a marketing and sales standpoint. Second, whether the explanation was clear and useful, not just a number. And third, whether the agent stays within the boundaries I had defined. Here, a key topic appears: cost. Every time the agent runs, it uses real artificial intelligence, and that means it has a cost. That's why from the start, I made the decision to control that usage, limit the number of runs, keep the prompts clear and not excessively long, and avoid unnecessary external searches. This is about using AI with intention. The point is very important, especially if one day you make your agent public. A good agent creator not only thinks about what the agent can do, but also how it's used, how much it costs, and who it serves. That's a part of the skill too. Testing, adjusting, and controlling costs is what turns an experiment into a professional tool. And if you're able to build these professional tools, these agents, that's going to set you apart in the eyes of the employer. In the next and final section, we're going to look at how to publish your agent and what it really means to take that next step. So let's move on to section number 6, publishing your agent and taking the next step. Reaching this point is already an important achievement, not only because you created your first AI agent, but because you understood the complete process from start to finish. Now comes a key part: publishing it. And I want to clarify something from the start. Publishing an agent does not necessarily mean making it perfect or launching it to the world as a finished product. Publishing means making it accessible, even if it's only for yourself, for your professors, or for your employers. A real asset, a published agent. This is already something that you can show. In my case, I published the agent using GitHub and Streamlit. GitHub allowed me to organize and document the project, and Streamlit made it possible for the agent to look and function like a real application. That completely changed the perception. It's no longer just an idea. It's not longer an academic experiment. It's a working AI agent, accessible and demonstrable. And let me share my screen so I can share the agent live. All right. So here on the screen, you see the agent live. So we have the button to select English or Spanish. At the top, we explain the instructions. Here are the different fields where the user, in this case the students, needs to put their data about geography, the type of business, the company, the service that they're going to be selling, the type of customer that they're going to reach, a small business, mid-size, or enterprise, and the average annual price for the product or service, and then special considerations. And then we click on calculate the TAM, SAM, and SUM. The agent takes like 1 or 2 minutes to calculate it. I already opened the report in advance, so we don't wait here on watching the video for 1 or 2 minutes for the agent to respond. But this is the result of the agent. So we have the input confirmation with all the variables that we put in place on the fields. The problem statement, estimate the TAM, SAM, and SUM for, so that was my example in Orlando, providing advice for small businesses. And then we have the key assumptions that the agent use. We have the formulas for TAM, SAM, and SUM for based on customers, based on revenue, and also we have low sales, base sales, and high sales. And also in the model, we add 2 what-if scenarios. If this happened, how that will going to modify our service obtainable market, and then some marketing and sales insight. This is the model running, or the agent running, for a very particular but very important marketing task: the calculation of the TAM, SAM, and SUM. All right, here comes the most important learning of the course. This is not the end. This is your first agent. Once you understand the process, you can start asking yourself, what other problems can I solve in marketing with agents? What repetitive tasks can I turn into agents? And what analysis I can automate or structure better with agents? This is where something much more valuable begins to take shape: a portfolio of AI agents. And this connects directly to your professional future. In 2026, the difference won't be made by those who use ChatGPT, but by those who understand, design, and build solutions with AI. This agent is your first step on that path. With this, we wrap up the course. If you made it this far, you no longer just know what an AI agent is. You know how to create one, and that changes everything. I will say goodbye by reminding you that 90% of our content at mercadotecniaventas.com is free. Think of mercadotecniaventas.com as the Khan Academy of Marketing and Sales in the AI era, in Spanish and English. For more than 2 years, we have been researching, writing, and teaching what works in the real world, helping students, academics, and professionals increase their productivity and turn AI into a competitive advantage. Every month, we reach thousands of people with practical, actionable content throughout our site and distribution platforms like YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and especially LinkedIn. Are you looking for your first job in marketing? We create a short practical course for the final year students and recent graduates. You will learn what companies are actually asking for today, 2026 skills, apply AI, personal brand, and an actionable plan. No empty theory, and no credit card required. Is completely free. Also, when you are in your first marketing and sales job, I recommend the Red Manual for Marketing and Sales Coordinator. It's not a book, it's not a textbook. It's a manual and practical guide that will help you to remember the most important topics in marketing and how to use them with artificial intelligence. Lastly, if you want me to share the full programming code of the AI agent to calculate time, sum, and sum, go to our store and download it for free. And remember, in marketing and sales, we always need to generate value. Thank you, and until next time. And don't forget to do your first AI agent.